Okay, imagine this. A sacred place, right? An ancient temple. It's this powerful symbol of shared heritage for people.
Yeah, you can picture it.
But then picture that same place, that same ground, not just as history, but as a live flashpoint, a site where conflict is simmering and it feels like it could ignite again.
Mm-hmm. A really tense situation.
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today, this volatile border between Thailand and Cambodia, and, why the threat of another clash feels so real right now.
Right.
We've gathered quite a stack of sources for you, articles, some really in-depth research, the latest news updates, and they paint a pretty vivid picture of why things are still so tense along this border.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the most critical factors, help you understand the historical roots, what's triggering things today, and, well, what it all means for stability in the region.
It's definitely complex.
It is, but we're going to try and distill it down into those aha moments, hopefully, that leave you feeling really well informed. So, okay, let's get into it. There's definitely more going on here than you might think at first glance, isn't there?
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating, or maybe concerning, is how you've got these different layers, ancient history, modern politics, nationalism, all sort of converging to create these flashpoints.
It's like a perfect storm of factors.
Yeah, it's a truly multi-dimensional conflict. It's not just one thing.
So when we start looking at why this border is still so contentious, our research really points first to these ancient sites. These historical places are often right at the heart of it.
Right at the core.
Particularly around a place called Prasat Ta Muen Thom. It's an old temple complex deep in the disputed zone.
Yeah.
And we actually saw serious fighting there back in late July. Artillery, even aircraft involved.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah. So what are the specific claims? Like geographically, what are they arguing over when it comes to these really symbolic sites?
Well, look, this isn't just about, lines on a map or patches of land. These sites are almost like living monuments. They connect a nation's identity, its soul, directly to this disputed territory.
Ah, okay. So it's deeply emotional.
Hugely. Imagine, like, a border dispute involving something like Stonehenge or the Grand Canyon. That's the kind of national identity that's wrapped up in these places. It makes compromise feel almost like betraying your own history.
Wow. Okay.
And the sources, they do highlight specific points. Thailand, for example, they claim control over strategic spots like Mom Bei, Krabey, Phu Makhuea Peak.
Okay.
While Cambodia asserts its control over the main temple site itself, Prasat Ta Muen Thom. Because these sites are so deeply, deeply tied to national heritage and sovereignty, any dispute over them becomes almost existential. It's not just about territory.
Got it. So that's the historical flashpoint, the deep roots. But what about the immediate dangers, like right now on the ground? Because our sources show that even after ceasefires were supposedly agreed, there's this alarming pattern of landmine incidents.
Yeah, that's really worrying.
This is where it gets really chilling, actually. There are multiple reports of Thai soldiers being injured by landmines after a ceasefire was meant to be in place. Specifically, August 9th and 12th, in Sisaket and Surin provinces.
So, very recently.
Very recent. And Thailand is pointing the finger, accusing Cambodia of, quote, laying new landmines. That's a serious accusation.
Extremely serious.
But Cambodia flatly denies it. They say, no, these are old mines, unrecovered ones from past conflicts. So you have this direct contradiction. It just screams lack of trust, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it throws up this really important question. Is this new aggression? Are they deliberately putting down new mines, which would be a massive escalation?
Right.
Or is it, just the tragic legacy of past fighting? Old mines that were never cleared. Either way, whether it's new or old, it completely undermines any effort to de-escalate things.
Because you just don't know what to believe.
Exactly. This lack of clarity, these mutual accusations, they just create this dangerous vacuum of trust. It means there's this constant hidden threat, and it stops any real sense of security from developing. Every step soldiers take in those areas is potentially perilous.
It's a terrifying thought, and it's easy to just focus on the border itself, the soldiers, the mines. But the sources we looked at really pull back the curtain. They show that often the real drivers of this conflict are actually far away from the front lines. They're deep inside the domestic politics of both countries.
Ah, the internal dimension. Always key.
Yeah. Analysts consistently point to this significant political angle. They specifically mention the rivalry, often quite bitter, between the Shinawatra political family in Thailand
A big name.
and the Han political family in Cambodia. These two powerful families, their rivalry often seems to spill over into national policy, including towards each other.
Right, dynastic politics playing out on a national stage.
And it's not just the families. There's also this rising tide of nationalism in both countries. You see it whipped up sometimes.
Yeah, nationalism is a powerful tool.
And we've even seen concrete economic actions, like Cambodia banned imports of some Thai fruits and media for a while. It feels like these political rivalries are almost using the border conflict for their own ends. Is that going too far?
No, I don't think that's cynical at all. Actually, it's a pretty classic geopolitical move, isn't it? What really stands out in the research is how these internal political fights, these nationalist stories, they get externalized. They get projected onto the border dispute. So if the leader is facing pressure at home, maybe economic problems or political opposition, well, strategically stirring things up at the border, fanning those nationalist flames, can be a useful distraction. It rallies people around the flag.
Diverts attention.
Precisely. And the economic stuff, like banning fruit, it's not just about punishment. It's a public performance, a show of strength, aimed just as much at their own population as it is at the other country.
Okay, so it's signaling.
It's definitely signaling. It shows just how tightly domestic politics and the border situation are woven together. The border becomes a stage, really, for playing out these internal pressures.
Right. And all of that, the history, the mines, the politics, it all feeds into what the reports are calling the erosion of ceasefire trust.
Yeah, that trust issue again.
There was this 13-point ceasefire agreement made back in late July. Apparently there was international pressure to get it done.
Trying to calm things down.
But despite that agreement, both sides just keep accusing each other of violating it constantly.
So the paper agreement doesn't match the reality on the ground.
Seems like it. And Thailand, for its part, reacted pretty strongly. They recalled their ambassador. They essentially withdrew the Cambodian embassy's diplomatic status for a bit, closed some border checkpoints.
Taking concrete steps back.
Yeah. It's quite chilling, isn't it, that a peace agreement meant to stop the fighting is still undermined by these hidden dangers, the mines, but also just this fundamental breakdown in faith between the two sides.
You know, if we zoom out a bit, this breakdown of trust in the agreements themselves, that might be the most dangerous flashpoint of all.
Why do you say that?
Because it suggests that diplomatic solutions, the peaceful pathways, are really struggling to gain any traction. If there's no basic belief that the other side will actually stick to what they agreed,
then the agreement isn't worth much.
Exactly. Any ceasefire becomes incredibly fragile, just waiting to break. And these actions, recalling ambassadors, closing borders, they're clear signs of a really profound lack of confidence in the whole peace process.
So the aha moment there is that a ceasefire isn't just about stopping shooting.
No, it's about building a foundation of mutual belief, of trust. And when that foundation crumbles, the whole structure is unstable. It's likely to collapse.
Okay. So let's try and pull these threads together. What does it all mean?
When you combine everything, these disputed historical sites, the landmine incidents happening even now, the domestic political agendas playing out, and this broken trust in ceasefires, it paints a pretty stark picture, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows very clearly why the risk of another confrontation, another round of fighting seems so high.
Yeah, this specific mix of factors creates an environment that's incredibly volatile, where just a single spark, a small incident could escalate really, really quickly.
And the politics make it worse.
Absolutely. The political dimension, especially leaders using nationalism, it actually provides incentives, potentially, for one side or the other to escalate things if it suits their domestic agenda.
Wow.
So it makes the situation constantly risky and makes genuine de-escalation incredibly hard to sustain. It really is like a powder keg, and you feel like the fuse is never that far away.
But it's not all doom and gloom, right? Given this really difficult situation, the sources we looked at didn't just analyze the problems. They also offered some ideas, some pathways forward to maybe prevent another clash. What were some of those recommendations?
Right, and this is important. Because knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when you can apply it, right? These recommendations, they really highlight that de-escalation needs two things working together. Practical, on-the-ground technical fixes, and also high-level political will.
Okay, so what are the specifics?
Well, first, there's a call for increased observation. The idea is maybe ASEAN or some other independent bodies could monitor the border areas more closely, provide neutral eyes on the ground.
Like impartial referees.
Sort of, yeah. to build transparency. Second, they propose a technical landmine negotiation. Get a joint Thai-Cambodian team together to transparently investigate these mine incidents and work on clearance. Get to the bottom of this new versus old mine argument.
Address that trust issue directly.
Exactly. Third, there's a recommendation for both sides to consciously reduce the provocative language, in their media, online. Just lower the temperature of the rhetoric.
Tone it down.
Tone it down. And finally, and this might be the most critical, they suggest high-level political dialogue. Maybe the prime ministers themselves or senior advisors actually going to the border together, doing joint inspection.
To rebuild that direct trust.
Yes, to show commitment from the very top and rebuild that person-to-person communication.
Okay, those sound like concrete steps. And just to really hammer home how current this all is, we have some very recent updates from the sources.
Well, yeah.
The Guardian reported just 5 days ago 3 Thai soldiers injured by a landmine on the border.
Oh, wow. Still happening.
Then, Reuters followed up just 3 days ago, another soldier injured by a landmine near Cambodia.
Jeez.
And literally today, Reuters is reporting that China has publicly stated its support for reconciliation efforts between Thailand and Cambodia.
Okay, that's interesting. The recent mine incidents are just tragic confirmation, aren't they? That the danger is immediate, ongoing. It really underscores why these discussions are so necessary.
Yeah.
The human cost is still happening.
Yeah.
And the China statement, well, it's brief, but it's diplomatically significant. It shows that major regional powers are definitely noticing the instability.
Right.
And perhaps it's a signal. Maybe Beijing is willing to encourage a diplomatic solution, maybe play a role. It adds another layer, doesn't it, to the complex international dynamics here.
It certainly does. Well, we've really tried to take a deep dive today into what's happening on that Thai-Cambodian border, moving past the headlines to get at the layers underneath, the history, the politics, the human impact. It really shows how complex geopolitics can get when you have so many forces pushing and pulling on just one line drawn on a map.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder, and there's always more to learn, isn't there? When you consider the sheer length of the history here, the different interests involved, but domestic and international, it makes you wonder, what more do you think is really needed? Beyond agreements, beyond monitoring, what's needed for genuine, lasting reconciliation and trust to actually take root between these two nations?
That's a big question.
It is. It's not just about policies. Maybe it's about changing deeper perceptions, shifting those underlying mindsets, something for you, the listener, to perhaps mull over.